Good morning, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Grandpop hanging out with a cup of tea in a noisy living room in Jack's Beach. There's a guy in back of us going towards the ocean, doing some work on his house. So maybe a little bit of noise out there. Sounds like the neighbors, the puppies are out there too. Today we're in chapter 16 of The Little Prince. He's been wandering from these tiny planets. He started in the desert, in the Sahara Desert, talking to a guy who was trying to fix an airplane who had crashed in the desert. A French guy. And then he wound up going back to his home planet where there's 3 volcanoes and 1 flower. And then he started exploring, going from planet to planet. These other planets are all asteroids. They're very small. But let's see where he is now in chapter 16. And we know it's 16 because it's XVI 10, 5, 1. The 7th planet was, therefore, the Earth. The Earth is not an ordinary planet. There are 111 kings, remembering, of course, the Black Kings. This book was written a long time ago. I think it was written like in World War II, in the 1940s. 7,000 geographers, 900,000 businessmen, 7.5 million drunks, 311 million vainglorious men, that is to say about 2 billion grown-ups. And these are all people that he saw on these tiny little planets. Hopefully my voice will get through this. To give you an idea of the dimensions of the Earth, I will tell you that before the invention of electricity, they had to maintain across 6 continents a real army of 462,511 lamplighters. And we saw a lamplighter. And out of all those other people who did nothing, the lamplighter was the one that actually did something, although all he did was follow orders. Seen from a little distance, it has a splendid effect. The movements of this army were well ordered as those of an opera ballet. First was the turn of the lamplighters in New Zealand and Australia. Then, after their lamps were lit, they went to sleep. Then it was the turn of the lamplighters in China and Siberia to enter the dance. Then they also waved back behind the scenes. Then it was the turn of the lamplighters in Russia and India, and then those in Africa and Europe, then those in South America, then those in North America. And they never made mistakes in their order to enter the scene. It was awesome. And if you remember, the lamplighter is only following orders, and he winds up having to light the lamp and put it out once a minute because the planet has sped up. Alone, the lamplighter of the unique lamp of the North Pole and his colleague with the unique lamp of the South Pole lived lives of idleness and indolence. They worked twice a year, and that's because the sun only rises once a year and sets once a year. Idleness means not really doing anything, and indolence is kind of the mindset that makes you want to live idly. Chapter 17, XVII. When we want to be witty, sometimes we lie a little. I was not very honest with the lamplighters. I might give a false idea of our planet to those who do not know it. Men occupy very little space on Earth, and that's true. We always talk about how overpopulated it is, but that's because there are only people in the really inhabitable parts of the Earth. There's a lot of places where there's hardly anybody, and then there are a lot of places where there is absolutely nobody. If the 2 billion people, and that's up to I think 6 or 7 billion now, if the 2 billion people who inhabit the earth stood up and a little tight as for a meeting, they would be easily accommodated in a public square of 20 miles long and 20 miles wide. We could cram humanity on the smallest island in the Pacific. I mean, it would suck. And I don't know how true this is, but if you put us all like shoulder to shoulder and back to front, it wouldn't take up that much. I'm sure you could put the entire world in New York City. The grown-ups, of course, will not believe you. They think they hold a lot of space. They see themselves as important as the baobabs, those trees. So you will advise them to do the calculation. They love the figures. It would please them. But don't waste your time on this boring task. It's useless. Trust me. The little prince, once on Earth, was very surprised to see nobody. And here he is. And it looks like he's out in the middle of nowhere. I believe he's in the Sahara Desert. So maybe we're coming back there. Like I've said before, I didn't read this book beforehand. I'm just reading it to you. He was already afraid to be in the wrong planet when a moon color ring stirred in the sand. "Good night," said the little prince, just in case. "Good night," said the snake. "What planet am I fallen?" asked the little prince. "On Earth. In Africa," replied the snake. "Ah, is there nobody on Earth?" "This is the desert. There is nobody in the deserts. The earth is big," said the snake. The little prince sat on a stone and looked at the sky. "I wonder," he said, "if the stars are lit so that everyone may one day find their own look at my planet. It's right above us, but as it is so far." "It is beautiful," said the snake. "What are you doing here?" "I have troubles with a flower," said the little prince. "Ah," said the snake. And they were silent. "Where are the men?" finally continued the little prince. "We are a bit alone in the desert." "We are also alone among men," said the snake. The little prince looked at it for a long time. "You're a funny animal," he said finally, "as thin as a finger." And there's the snake, and there's the little prince right there. "But I am more powerful than the finger of a king," said the snake. The little prince smiled. You are not very powerful. You don't even have legs. You can't even travel. I can take you further than a ship, said the snake. It wrapped itself around the ankle of the little prince as a gold bracelet. The one I touch, I send them back to the land from which he emerged, it said. But you are pure, and you come from a star. The little prince answered nothing. It's a pity you are so weak on this earth of granite. I can help you someday if you miss your planet too. I can. Oh, I understand very well, said the little prince. But why do you always speak in riddles? I solved them all, said the snake. And they were silent. So here we are in 18. XVII 18. 105111. The little prince crossed the desert and met only one flower, a flower with 3 petals, a flower of nothing. Good morning, said the little prince. Good morning, said the flower. Where are people? The little prince asked politely. I wonder if he still has that snake wrapped on his leg. The flower one day saw a caravan passing. People, there are, I think, 6 or 7. I saw them some years ago, but we never know where to find them. They move with the wind. They have no roots. It bothers them a lot. Goodbye, said the little prince. Goodbye, said the flower. So now we're on 19, XIX, 10 and 1 before 10. And 9 is 1 before 10. So 1, 9, 19. Or 10, 9, I should say. The little prince climbed a high mountain, and here he is. He's up here on this high mountain. The only mountains he had ever known were the 3 volcanoes that reached to his knee, and he used the extinct volcano as a stool. From a high mountain like this, he thought so, I see at once the whole planet and all people, which isn't true. But he saw nothing but well-sharpened rock needles. Good morning, he said just in case. Good morning, good morning, good morning, replied the echo. Oh, so he's up on a mountain, and he goes, good morning. And then, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. So it's echoing his voice. Who are you? Said the little prince. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Replied the echo. Be my friends. I am alone, he said. I am alone, I am alone, I am alone, replied the echo. What a funny planet, he thought then. It is entirely dry, entirely peaked, and entirely salty, and people have no imagination. They repeat what they listen. In my planet, I had one flower. It was always the first to talk. So now we're in 20, XX, 10 plus 10. But it happened that the little prince, having walked for a long time across sand, rocks, and snow, finally discovered a road. And all roads go to men. Good morning, he said. It was a garden full of roses, and here over on this side you see the little prince in the garden filled with roses. The little prince looked at them. They all looked like his flower. "Who are you?" he asked them, stunned. "We are roses," the roses said. "Ah," said the little prince. And he felt very unhappy. His flower had told him that it was the only one of its kind in the universe. And here there was 5,000, all similar, in a single garden. It would be very upset, he said, if it saw this. It would cough a lot and would pretend to die to escape the ridicule. So it's a girl flower and it coughs to make him feel like he's wrong. And I would be really obliged to pretend to care for her, because otherwise, to humiliate me too, it would really die. And that's also, that's the thing, like, yeah, if you do that, it'll just make me die. Guilt. And then he said to himself, "I thought I was rich with a single flower, and I have only an ordinary rose. It and my 3 volcanoes that reach to my knee, and one of which perhaps is extinct forever." Do not make me a really great prince. And lying in the grass, and there he is, he cried. "21, 10, 10, 1." And we hear that the noise is coming now from the other side of the house. The construction noise has calmed down, but now the trash men are out front. It's recyclable day. Chapter 21, XXI, 10, 10, 1. It was then that the fox appeared. And here's the little prince with his scarf and the fox. And I think that your dad was dressed as the fox, Arlo, and on Halloween. You were dressed as the little prince, and you refused to wear your crown. You did wear your scarf. I haven't run into your mom yet in here. She's she's the drunk. Your mom doesn't really drink, but and the drunk was a man, or it was a woman. Actually, no, the drunk changed genders. It was a he and a she. And when they said, like, there's like however many millions of drunks on the earth, they didn't say men or women. So it's all kinds of people. Drinkers. Maybe they call them drinkers. It was then that the fox appeared. "Good morning," said the fox. "Good morning," answered politely the little prince, who turned but saw nothing. "I'm here," said the voice, "under the apple tree." And I believe that the prince has said hello to everybody before they say hello to him. He says hello sometimes to things that don't say hello back. And I believe this is the first time that something has said hello to him first. I could be wrong. I'm an old man with a feeble mind, and quite often I'm wrong. If you don't believe me, ask your grandmother. "Who are you?" said the little prince. "You are very beautiful." "I am Jamie Fox," said the fox. No, he didn't say that. "I am a fox," said the fox. "Come and play with me," the little prince proposed. "I am so sad." "I cannot play with you," said the fox. "I am not tamed." "Ah, sorry," said the little prince. But after some reflection, he added, What does tame mean? You are not from here, said the fox. What are you looking for? I'm looking for men, said the little prince. What does tame mean? The men, said the fox, have guns and they hunt. It is very awkward. They also raise chickens. It is their only interest. Are you looking for chickens? No, said the little prince. The little petite prince. And I believe in French. The original book is in French, and I believe it's Le Petit Prince, I believe. I am looking for friends. What does tame mean? It is something really forgotten, said the fox. It means create connections. Create connections? Of course, said the fox. You are only a little boy for me, just like 100,000 little boys. And I don't need you. And you don't need me either. I am only a fox, for just like 100,000 foxes. But if you tame me, we will need each other. You will be unique in the world for me. I will be unique in the world for you. So it's just like when I was explaining about my guitar, that I'm useful to the guitar to keep it being a working instrument. And it's useful to me. Well, and that might have been the last reading, but hopefully you're going in order. It's the same type of thing here. There's certain like threads that run through this book, and you pick them up as you're going along. Very interesting book. I begin to understand, said the little prince. There is a flower. I think that it has tamed me. It is possible, said the fox. On earth, we see all kinds of things. Oh, it is not on the earth, said the little prince. The fox seemed very intrigued. I have no idea what this is a picture of, but I guess it's the little prince. In another planet? Yes. Are there hunters on this planet? No. It is interesting. What about chickens? Nothing is perfect, the fox sighed. What about chickens? No. Nothing is perfect, the fox sighed. And you know why? Foxes eat chickens. So the reason that he's like, yeah, people, they only hunt and they raise chickens because when they hunt foxes. They try to kill them. So whenever they see men with guns, they want to avoid those men with guns, and they want to skedaddle, get out of the way so they don't get shot. And then they raid the hen house, so they eat chickens. So the fox, he's only concentrating on what concerns him. That's his focus. Nothing is perfect, the fox sighed. However, the fox returned to his thought. My life is monotonous. I hunt chickens. Men hunt me. All hens are similar, and all men are similar. So I'm a little bored. But if you tame me, my life will be as if enlightened by the sun. I will know the sound of a step that will be different from all others. The other steps will make me go underground. Yours will call me out of the burrow like music. And then look, do you see over there the wheat fields? I don't eat bread. Wheat for me is useless. Wheat fields remind me of nothing. And it is sad, but you have golden hair. Then it will be wonderful when you have tamed me. Wheat, which is golden, will remind you, or I think it's supposed to be make me be reminded of you. And I will like the sound of the wind in the wheat. The fox was silent and looked a long time at the little prince. Please tame me, it said. I want to, replied the little prince, but I don't have a lot of time. I have friends to find and a lot of things to know. We know only the things we tame, said the fox. Men do not have more time to know anything. They buy things all made at merchants. But as there is no point of merchants of friends, men do not have friends anymore. If you want a friend, tame me. What should be done, said the little prince. We need to be very patient, answered the fox. First you sit a little away from me, like that on the grass. I will look at you from the corner of the eye, and you will say nothing. Language is source of misunderstandings. However, every day you can sit a little closer. The next day, the little prince came back. It would have been better to come back at the same time, said the fox. If you come, for example, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, at 3 o'clock, I will begin to be happy. The more hours pass, the more I will feel happy. At 4 o'clock, I will already be restless and worried. I will find the price of happiness. But if you come at any time, I will never know what time to prepare my heart. We need rituals. And rituals are things that we do all the time, like every day. And rituals could be simple, like I brush my teeth every night before I go to bed. That's a ritual. I pray every morning when I get up. That's a ritual. What is a ritual? Said the little prince. It is also something really forgotten, said the fox. It is what makes one day different from the other day, 1 hour from the other hours. There is a rite, for example, among my hunters. They dance with the girls in the village on Thursday. Then Thursday is a wonderful day. I go for a walk up to the vine. If the hunters danced at any time, the days would look like every other, and I wouldn't have any vacation. So when they're dancing with the dancing girls, the foxes can walk around because they know the hunters are all involved with other things. So the little prince tamed the fox. And when the time of departure was close, "Ah," said the fox, "I will cry." "It is your fault," said the little prince. "I did not wish you any harm, but you wanted me to tame you." "Of course," said the fox. "But you were going to cry," said the little prince. "Of course," said the fox. "So you do not get anything." "I win," said the fox, "because of the color of the wheat." Then it added, "You will see the roses again. You will understand that your rose is unique in the world. You will come back to say goodbye to me, and I will give you a secret." The little prince went to see the roses again. "You are not similar to my rose at all. You are nothing yet," he told them. "Nobody has tamed you, and you have tamed nobody. You are like my fox was. It was only a fox like 100,000 others, but it became my friend, and now it is unique in the world." And having a good friend is unique in the world, kids. And the roses were very embarrassed. You are beautiful, but you are empty, he also told them. Nobody can die for you. Of course, concerning my rose, an ordinary passerby would believe that it looks like you. But only it is more important than you all, because it is the one that I watered, because it is the one I put under a case, because it is the one I have sheltered with the screen, because it is the one whose caterpillars I have killed, except the 2 or 3 becoming butterflies, because it is the one I have listened to complain or boast or even shut up sometimes. And that's interesting that he listens to it shut up. And that's in a relationship, you'll have that where, like, oh, you're not talking to me. What does that mean? Because this is my rose. And he returned to the fox. Goodbye, he said. Goodbye, said the fox. Here is my secret. It is very simple. We see well only with the heart. The essential is invisible to the eyes. The essential is invisible to the eyes, the little prince repeated, in order to remember. It is the time you have spent for your rose that makes your rose so important. It is the time I have spent for my rose, the little prince said, in order to remember. Men have forgotten this truth, said the fox. But you must not forget it. You become responsible forever for what you have tamed. You are responsible for your rose. I am responsible for my rose, the little prince repeated, in order to remember. Okay, we'll get back to this in chapter 22 next time. Until then, peace out, kiddies.